Hey, good morning, guys. It's Goose here, and welcome to STN Stock Talk with Ricky and myself. I think we're baby free this morning.
We are.
I liked it better yesterday. I think that was fun.
Maybe I'll have to bring her back for an encore.
There you go. She traded well yesterday, I'll tell you that. Hope you guys have checked us out over at stocktraders.net, guys. Listen, we got a free trading floor over there. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of widgets. We got some cool things that we're implementing. Tron, which I know that Ricky spent time talking about. I'm not going to jump into because we got some great names to go over. Hey, guys, just a reminder, everything we're covering this morning, it's not solicitation. It's just some ideas Ricky and I are coming up with, trying to give back to the trading community. Hopefully, you guys are spreading the word about us and getting us out there. And hopefully, you like what we're doing. If you don't, whether you do or don't, send us messages. Let us know what you'd like to see more of. And join Stock Traders at the free trading floor. You can always send us a message within there or either of our Twitter handles. You could send them there as well. Read the disclaimer that's up on the screen. Look at it also in the description area. Know that you guys got to trade your own plans. All we're doing is showing you different things and different things to look at on charts that we, how we look at things and names we're coming up with every day. So with that being said, Ricky, what are you coming up with today?
Thanks a lot, Goose. We'll jump right into it, guys. I am going to start off with Ford, F-O-R-D. Now, there was a lot of talk on Twitter last night about Ford blowing away their earnings numbers. And I started looking for the report and realized, like, dude, they filed a notice of late filing. So we don't even really have the numbers. They're preliminary. And I mean, if you go off the preliminary numbers, it appears they're going to be cash flow positive. That's actually not really nothing new with them. And I know that's surprising for something that we consider a turd, right? And I definitely do consider Ford a turd. You can just take a look at their daily chart and see the price history, usually just this big, long downward trend. But it's not as dirty under the hood as most of the turds we cover. So really, it's mostly played from a technical perspective. Whenever it gets legs, we get interested. We see our levels. We take our entries. We manage our risk. That's the name of the game, guys. But let's just jump into the notes I have on them. I don't like the fact that they frequently take loans from a subsidiary that is owned by the CEO and in return issue them promissory notes. The last one they did was for $1.6 million back in late January. They also issued about 400,000 unregistered shares to the CEO and the COO of IPS, which is a company they acquired. We'll see when this next Q is released how the acquisition has actually helped their top and bottom line, but I'm really doubting very much. The whole thing about Ford is just they have an unattractive business, and it's not something that deserves a very high valuation, and hence why we trade down at these levels. So when you get these big pops, they are worth looking at. So the float on it should be about 5.6 million. That's down from a 9.5 million OS. They have about 700,000 warrants as of the end of December, but that's really nothing too concerning. I only covered it because we had the gap post-market last night, and I think that was people on Twitter, saying like, oh, tomorrow's big runner is going to be Ford. I just want to put it out there so you guys know the details on it in case it does get legs today. But that's how we're going to play it if it pops, guys. The next thing I'm looking at is RDVT. Let me grab my notes on it real quick. And as you can see, I was interested in it based on the move yesterday. I had a huge move up from 5.5 all the way up to 10, and was hoping that it looked like it was going to be a runner today as well. And then you can see that it's already kind of flopping. So from this point forward, the way to play it for me is going to be to use 10 as your level, like the over under. Obviously, you can risk on the pre-market highs if you want, but any kind of reclaim at 10 or any strength over 10, I would probably not touch it short until it extends, guys. But if 10 is going to act as the lid, you have your levels of risk. You can play it from a technical perspective. There's not a lot of information on this company. The OS is about 10.2 million shares. I see about almost 7 million shares held by funds. I think the tradable float is going to be around 3.5 million shares. They had $20 million cash at the end of March. They burn almost $1 million a month. They're not desperate for cash or anything, but when you get these kinds of extensions, I think definitely keep something like this on watch for a reversal. The last thing on my list today, guys, is Boot. It's an earnings winner. And the way I'm looking at it today is that I feel like these numbers might have been kind of baked in. We have this big run into the earnings. We are gapping over the 52-week highs, and I can check real quick and see if we're at all-time highs. We are not. So that being said, we are going to play this as we're going to use the 5-minute 20. When we extend from that, it's going to be dependent on how we open from the 5-minute 20. I like 25 behind it as strength. It's a nice psychological number. And I always think that stocks trend really well on the 5-minute 20. So if we open up, extended away from the 5-minute 20, like if we get legs here in the next 20 minutes, I will look to short this thing as a scalp back to that level. First area of, or first target would be the 5-minute 20, and then probably the psych number 25. Would love a shove up to 30. But if we just stay trending on this 5-minute 20, maybe it's going to get some legs with 25 right behind it. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing work out as a nice little bit of a long for the open. As I said, it's going to depend on how it opens on that 5-minute 20, guys. That's it for me. I'm going to throw it back to Goose. I really am interested to hear what he has to say about the names he's got. Take it away, buddy.
Hey, appreciate it very much, man. Great job as always. And I'm just going to jump right into it. I got some things I'm kind of excited about this morning. TEVA got away from me a little bit. I can't believe it just missed my entry for my initial thing down there. But when I'm looking at TEVA, it's kind of a retrace play. It's up on a Berkshire stake. Stock's been acting really nice. It's just getting overbought. When it cleared these levels, I was talking in the room a couple days ago. I mean, this chart is starting to look really good, and I think there's more to it. I think you could see 22, 23, something like that. So we actually already tested 21 and a quarter as a pre-market highs. Right now, we're back up on that. And what I'm hoping for is a wash at the open or some sort of imbalance, just some profit taking. This is going to be look where I'm looking for my entry in this 2050 to 2070 pocket. A lot of times I start between the 60 and 50% retrace, but with pre-market levels, I couldn't pull the trigger on that. Even though it did pull back in that range, I was being a little stubborn, wanted it closer to 2070. So what I'm going to look at now at this point is look for a nice little wash at the open for some entry, look for some continuation, and hopefully a push on 2150 to 22. So that's going to be my my goal with this. And my entry, again, is going to be hopefully around the 2050 to 2070 area. I'm not going to chase this one. There's so many things out there today. I feel like you don't have to force anything. I think the opportunities will be definitely out there. I'm going to also talk about Macy's this morning. So Macy's, I actually really like the long on this. The numbers were really, really good. I've actually already started. I typed in the room earlier. I have a starter position on 31.85. My plan to add around 31.30s on some sort of wash, or in the 31 level, add some more. But right now I'm only like 1/6 or 1/5 size. And I'm not going to add until I see how it acts at the open. I actually have my sales out there in the 33 area if it makes a quick pop. But what I would love to see, and you could kind of see it's holding this level right here, is I would love to just see that imbalance, some sort of wash, and to join a long, a long play on this. I do feel it can come down as low as 31 or in that area. So I'll be patient with sizing in, see how it acts. Obviously, we got to take in the market, see what the SPY is doing, see what NQ is doing for some of these. And those are the things I'm going to be looking at. But I really like the long idea on Macy's. I was also talking in the room pre-market. Look for the sympathy plays, guys, like the Kohl's and the, I think Target was up a little bit. I mean, so look at some of these sympathy plays also. Sometimes those are easier if the other ones start to get crowded. Macy's obviously is going to have some big volume, but those are some other, thoughts on those type of things. I want to jump right over to another one I want to talk about, and that was NVIDIA. Listen, NVIDIA, the chart looks really nice. Ricky had actually mentioned also early this morning, he's been trading NVIDIA fantastic over the last couple of days. And this is a really nice level from yesterday, this 246 area. So what I'm looking for is if the market wants to pull some sort of, nice red to green and nice push, after the open, this is going to be one of without a doubt, my go-to name. I'm going to look for NVIDIA for a clear of 246 and a push right back up on that 250 level. And I really think it's going to do it. So I like this. I have very high conviction of this trade. We're going to have to see how it opens. Obviously, the market's got to be conducive. This is going to go right along with the NQ and see obviously the market's heavy. There's no trade in this. Even if the market is still heavy and this touches 246, I'm not taking that trade. I need to see everything line up. But I'll tell you, if it lines up, this will be a real good one for me. I really like NVIDIA and that through that 246 area. And it was a nice flash also this morning. Ricky put in the room early on. So put on everybody's radar. So with that all being said, I did see, I think it was VSTM came out with a pricing of $4.50 a share on a secondary. Just, I'm not sure if you guys are following that low price name. That was a stock that was moving up over the last couple of days. And BLNK, guys, be careful on BLNK. We've been talking about it the last 2 days about the long and that we really thought it was a long idea. I don't have a position in it. I wish I did, but there it goes today. So there you're seeing a big move on BLNK. Stay safe. We know. Don't let the same prior runners and gappers get you 2 days or 2 times, guys. Be smart about it. I mean, it's, you know, 1 time, okay. 2 times it starts to get pretty silly, and let alone 3 times. So be smart about it. You don't need to pick up backside moves. Sometimes they're easier for longs, or there's plenty of plays out there to jump on today, where you got to just stare at BLNK because it's a high flyer. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I got lots on my watch. I'm excited about today, and let's have a great day today. Ricky, I'll let you close us out, and let's have a great day, guys.
Thanks a lot, Goose. Just a note of interest on Macy's. Now, I know these numbers are not reflective of the actual float, but if you use a company like Whale Wisdom or whatever to look up fund holdings and stuff, believe the OS on Macy's is like 305 million shares. So you would think, oh, there's no way this thing can have legs and run. But if you look at all the fund holdings, there's like, according to Whale Wisdom, there's 302 million, 303 million. So that's why you can get moves like you get on Macy's. Now, I wouldn't expect that the float is actually only 3 or 4 million on this. I think a lot of times in Whale Wisdom or these other reports where you see the 13Gs and 13Fs, you get a lot of multiple holdings that are reporting the same shares being held beneficially. So just that note, guys, that things like Macy's or other companies that have really, really large OSs sometimes can move a lot quicker than, a lot faster than what a slow, big, fat, bloated float would usually move like. Everything else can be discussed further over in the chat, guys. Come over to stocktraders.net and get yourself a plan. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a trade. Stay safe out there. Protect your capital. Let's go out there and crush it. Peace.